tough questions. When it comes to immigration reform, we handle these issues on an everyday basis in the courtroom, as judges, prosecutors. Those are tough questions to have because some people commit offenses unknowingly, and some people commit offenses and unfortunately. And what do? Sometimes we have to arrest them, prosecute them, and then send them back to a home country that they've never been. What happens to the kid that was raised here in the United States since he was 2 years old, graduates from high school, is applying for scholarships, realizes he has no Social Security? What do we do for those kids? That's why we need DACA. That's why we need DAPA for the parents. We need to help these people who are coming here for the right reasons to have a better life. We need to help them. Immigration reform needs to happen, but we need to do so compassionately. We need to protect our borders. I understand that. But protecting our borders, like some of the Republicans say, let's build a wall. Well, how high? 20-foot wall? Why no Mexican ingenuity? You build a 20-foot wall, they're going to build a 21-foot ladder. We need to do something, but we need to do something with compassion. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here for you, and I'll fight for them. Well, let's give them their dream. Let's give them their American dream. My dad had the American dream. He gave it to me. I'm doing the same thing with my daughter. My grandma did it for his dad, for my dad. Thank you very much, Grandma, for planting the seeds.
Our next question comes from Natasha Garza, who's an educator. As stated by most people running for office this year, education is the key to improving our economy. That being said, do you plan to propose and/or support in the areas of skill training where most of the jobs in our district are and will be in the future?
Well, that's a great question. And Oscar, Jaime, Carmen, Renee, where's Renee? Because Renee helps us make these decisions on an everyday basis. There's not enough people that are on the board that are pushing for a career in technology, for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We need to teach these kids coding. What's coding? That's the future. That's the future language. Everybody loves apps on their phone. We finally started teaching coding here at Robertville High School. There are federal funds that we can bring down to the valley for career in technology. I want to increase those funds so that way we can give, like we've been doing at ECIZ for the past 7 years, giving 7,400 career and technology certificates so kids can graduate with a high school plus degree. It's Imagine we can duplicate those successes throughout the whole district, throughout the whole state, throughout the whole country. Let's do this for them, the millennials. Let's help them graduate college debt-free.
Yes.
We need to do that. We've been doing that. We've got a little funds down so that way kids can graduate with 2 years of college while in high school. We've been doing that. I want to do more of that. Let me do more of that. Let me help you. Let me help you. You just registered to vote.
Okay, we're cutting you off there. No more. Just one more question. What is your plan? This is from Guillermo Melendez. And Guillermo has an interesting story because he was one of these students that was working. We all know that person. It was all of us, right? We had to work our way through school. And so it took him like 8 or 9 years to finally finish. And he finally gets his business degree. And guess what? He's still doing the same job he was doing 3 years ago. Can't find a job. So what is your plan to create more jobs that will hold realistic living wages in Texas District 15?
Jobs. Everybody's worried about jobs. You know, that's why we graduate students with a high school plus degree, because that's what it takes. It's hard to make ends meet on a high school diploma. It's hard to make ends meet on a bachelor's degree. It really is. I know some attorneys that are struggling, doctors that are struggling, people are struggling out there. But it's not so much because because they are uneducated or because they don't know, because we lack opportunity. Why? I had the opportunity to sit with Mr. Partridge, from the McAllen Economic Development Board, and he had some wonderful ideas. And he said, unfortunately, congressmen don't listen. Congressmen don't listen to the reality of what we are here. A river runs through our community. What? The river runs through Edinburgh and McAllen? No. Look at what we are. We are a major metropolitan area. We are an international metropolitan area. When you look at the 75-mile radius of where we are 2 million, 3 million people. We would have the largest market here in Texas. We would be the 15th largest market in North America. I sat with him, he said, yes, we have the East Coast with the Atlantic. Yes, we have the West Coast with the Trans-Pacific Partnership. But he had an idea and I caught on to it very quick. It's called the Third Coast Project. We have a waterway system that we're not fully taking advantage of. We can take advantage of that program. And once we realize that, and once we get the federal government to realize that we are an international metropolitan area, corporations start listening. They start bringing down businesses here, realizing that we can have offices here, have offices right across the river as one community. A fence does not help that at all. Once we realize what we are, a major metropolitan area, jobs come. And that's what I'm going to fight for. We need to start thinking differently, thinking better.
Woo! Yeah!
Shane didn't come at you.
On the hot seat. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for everything. You know, I was raised by wonderful women in my life. My sisters, my mom, my grandma, my aunts. Thank you very much for everything you did for us. One person I do want to thank the most, though, my other sisters, please don't get upset at me with this, but she's sitting right here, Miss Patricia Love. She has been my biggest supporter and surrounded by strong women, by very strong women. I will do everything I can to fight for your right, equal pay for equal work. You deserve it.
Yes.
Woo! My daughter says that women's rights are human rights. We are not any lesser than any other person. This is what we're going to do. When I was a kid, my parents told me you can do this. I was shy. I went to kindergarten. Miss Zamora took me by the hand most of the time, gave me a dime for ice cream. I remember her still today. And she told me I can do it. Miss Torres, she is now assistant superintendent for the school district. She told me I can do this. I've been holding on to this since 1996. For one day. One day I was going to read this out loud because Miss Edelina Martinez said, Sonny, I want you to come to my office. I want to give you something. I see. I want you to come by my office. I want to give you something. She handed me this, and she goes, I read it, and I thought of you. Women always made me believe I could change the world. That's why I'm here today. That's why I'm running. But it's a little funny. It's by Steve Jobs when he first was revitalizing the Apple line. And I'm going to go ahead and read it. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers. Everybody sounds like me, right? The round pegs and the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. They have no respect for the status quo. You can praise them, disagree with them, quote them, disbelieve them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They invent, they imagine, they heal, they explore, they create, they inspire, they push the human race forward. Maybe they have to be crazy. How else can you stare at an empty canvas and see a work of art? Or sit in silence and hear a song that has never been written? Or gaze at a planet and see a laboratory on wheels? We make tools for these kinds of people. While some see crazy, we see genius. Because those people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who can.
Yeah.